Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Danyang Huang, and here are my colleagues, Roy, Calvin, and Kim. And we are here to talk about the strategies for HIT so that it can maintain its successful business and prosper even more in the future. I will start by briefly talking about current situation. The most obvious trend is that transshipment business is on the rise. According to a report, transshipment business has drastically increased from 17% of global throughput to 61% in 2010. Transshipment is getting more and more popular because it reduces network costs for the companies. Because the companies get to travel less, they save time and money. However, this has not exactly been the best news for terminal operators like HIT, because it yields lower profit for us. This happens because we charge the same price for the transshipment service, but it takes more time and money and work. So for example, a container for transshipment has to be moved twice, from the big vessel to the port and again from port to the smaller vessel. And when the container stays in the port, it takes up space, and space is money. Right now, 60% of our business is dealing with transshipment. And also, competition is another issue. When we look at local competition, HIT is doing quite well with 55% of market share. However, the issue comes with the competition between other ports in Southeast Asia, for example in Singapore, and in mainland China. Especially the mainland Chinese ports are getting a substantial amount of support from the government, so they have lower tariff, and this makes them a strong competitor for us. Now, Kim will further analyze the situation with SWOT analysis.
Thank you, Sonia. Now, let me present to you the SWOT analysis of HIT. Regarding the strengths, HIT has an experienced management team and a skilled workforce. Our company started engaging in cargo container operations as early as in the 1960s and began developing a terminal in Kuaiqing in the 1970s, and there has been intensive effort in staff training. The second advantage has to do with geographical location. Hong Kong is a free port at the nexus of major shipping routes. Shippings from the US West Coast looking for transshipment around Southeast Asia can minimize their transportation costs by using the Kuaiqing hub. Besides, we have the largest local market share. HIT is the largest operation in Hong Kong, handling import, export, and transshipment cargoes. By 2010, we had captured 2/3 of the annual throughput of the Kuaiqing hub. Moreover, our operational efficiency is very high. We are so productive in the sense that each key crane can move 30 or even more containers each hour. As for weaknesses, we lack experience in transshipment, and the government doesn't provide much support to us. We also lack space for expansion. Transshipment containers stays in the yards longer than import and export containers, but the space in Kuaiqing is very limited. In busy periods, we often cannot handle so many cargoes, and we have to resort to subcontracting. Moreover, our tariff rate is quite unattractive compared to that of Shenzhen. However, we cannot lower the tariff rate because this would greatly reduce our firm's earnings. So when it comes to opportunities, please be noted that there is an increased demand for transshipment. It is a result of the operation of cargo containers, which greatly reduce the cost of sea transportation. Another opportunity is that there is an increasing demand for high level of service provided by our firm. Nowadays, shipping lines often form consortiums, and individual lines are often influenced by the new partners to shift to preferred operators. Concerning the threats, there are more substitutes for HIT's import and export services. Our major competitors, FTF, is operating several terminals in Shenzhen, which competes with us for import and export cargoes. Last but not least, we are facing keen competition from other ports as a transshipment hubs. Ports in mainland China open to world shipping have been attracting cargoes previously handled by Hong Kong. And even the HIT's sister firm is competing with us in Shenzhen. Actually, we are also subject to competition at international level. We have to compete with operators in Singapore and South Korea. Now, let me pass the time to Kevin to talk about some possible short-term strategies.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. And after having the SWOT analysis, we now have a brief image about our company. And now I would like to talk about the three main issues that our company is facing that hinder the growth of our business. First, there is a low profit margin on the transshipment business. As Sanya just described that we are having a increasing demand for the transshipment services, and however, we are always having a low profit margins in the transshipment business. Why? Is because the cost of doing the transshipment business is really high. Usually for a transshipment business, and the cargoes need to stay in our port for some period of time before they are transshipped from other places. And this will take up a lot of spaces. And as Sonia just said, space is our money, and we are spending a lot of money, a lot of cost on transshipment business. As a result, although the revenue is more or less the same or even higher, the cost is trying to lower our profit. Another problem is that there is a strong competition with the neighboring ports. In fact, not only us, there are many ports in the neighboring country. In the neighboring country, they are trying to develop a transshipment hub, like the South Korea, and they are trying to do the transshipment business to grab the opportunity of the increasing demand. However, we are not good at transshipment business, and we are more experienced in the import and export. And this means, and also there is a keen competition between. So we really need a strong effort to stand out from the competition. The third problem is that we are in lack of the expansion space. As I just said, the countries like South Korea are developing a transshipment port. But at the same time, this kind of development requires a lot of spaces. This may be a comparative disadvantage to us as we do not have a lot of expansion space, although we have spent hard work in bargaining with the government for more and more expansion space. To overcome these issues, our teams has worked out several strategies to solve the problems and increase the profit. And we'll categorize all the strategies in the short term and the long term basis. First, for the short term, we try to increase the profit from the transshipment. As we all know, the transshipment business is increasingly dominant in the market, so we need to grab the opportunity. And our team is suggesting that to increase the transshipment portion in our company from 60% to 70%, and this can help, and we can do by facilitate more for the transshipment business. And also at the same time, to increase the profit of the transshipment, we can also try to lower the cost of the business. That is like reducing the operating cost, which is supported by another strategy. That is to improve the operational efficiency. As we all know, though we are very famous for the efficient input and outflow of cargoes, we still need improvement for the transshipment business, since it's quite new to us. And increasing the operational efficiency may help us to transship the cargoes in a faster time. Say maybe in the past the cargoes will stay here for a long time because of factors like preparation for small subcontracted vessels. And so increase the operational efficiency can definitely reduce the cost of the business and increase the profit. Last but not least, as we are doing quite well in the local market, we should maintain the local market share of 55% in the current market, while we are trying to stand out in the competition in the Southeast Asian market. So now I would like to pass the time to my teammate Roy for discussing the long-term strategy.
Thanks, Calvin. The solutions that we have just covered is not enough. In order to survive in a tough competition with other ports, it is essential for HIT to get support from the government. This includes signing up more double taxation agreements, promoting the SIPA, leasing vacant space near Kuai-heng, retaining an easy clearance flow, and reducing the marine-related fees. Double taxation means paying tax more for two or more times on the same items because several taxation overlap. Double taxation agreements is to avoid such situation, and this can reduce the cost and attract more customers. The Mainland and Hong Kong Coastal Economic Partnership Arrangement, which known as SIPA, is the first free trading agreements ever made by Hong Kong and Mainland China. One area of the SIPA covers that all goods transported from Hong Kong to Mainland China are of no tariff. In this case, with the SIPA, Hong Kong can be promoted to be the leading market entry to China, and definitely HIT can benefit from it. And as Kelvin has mentioned, space is money. So leasing vacant space nearby Kuai-heng with the help of government can definitely increase the profitability and hence increase our profits. Also, Hong Kong as China has a comparative advantage in cost, as Hong Kong has limited space and relative high labor costs. So we encourage HIT to negotiate with the government to retain the easy clearance flow and inspection process to have a higher customer satisfaction to compete with the ports in mainland China. Now, you will now have the image of our strategies. So I'll pass the time to Senya to talk about how to put them into practice.
I will talk about different ways to implement these strategies that we just suggested. First of all, we believe that it's important for the whole staff to know what the company is doing right now and what it plans to do in the future, like new goals. Therefore, we suggest HIT to hold training or workshop for the staff in order to inform them of what's happening right now and to emphasize the importance of transshipment business. And this will change their attitudes and vision, and this is the key to successful implementation of strategy. And secondly, we suggest the company to set up a department only devoted to transshipment. So other companies, when they want to do transshipment business with us, they will report directly to this department, and this will increase operational efficiency. And this department will also try to improve the quality of service. So for example, in busy time, they will prepare more subcontracted vessel in order to increase the speed and efficiency of transshipping process. And lastly, it seems that the government support is in need. So we suggest the company to start lobbying the government, of course legally. So first of all, for example, you could start talking to government officials to emphasize how important it is to maintain Hong Kong as a trading hub, and also make them aware of the fact how much support the mainland Chinese ports are getting right now. And I am positive that, and when they know, and when they're aware of these facts, they will help us, because trading business is one of Hong Kong's strongest points.
Now, I'll talk about the expected returns of two of our strategies, the increase in transshipment and the expansion of space. Now, first, we've balanced the ratio of, now this is the current situation of HIT. 40% of the profits comes from the import and export, and 60% of the profits comes from the transshipment. First, we've balanced the